Hello and welcome to another pit stop video. This one is for Raccoon Tycoon, and this one is designed by Glenn Drover and coming from Forbidden Games. Now in Raccoon Tycoon we are tycoons, anthropomorphic tycoons indeed, in the fabled land of Astoria. And what we're going to be doing in the game is essentially manipulating the commodity markets here and driving the price up as much as we can to sell those commodities in order to buy railroads, towns and buildings. So how are we going to go about this? Well, let's go through the action. So the first and probably the most important action, the one you're going to be certainly using the most in the game, is the production. Now everybody's going to have a hand of 3 of these price and production cards. Now they are twofold. So on the top you're going to drive up the price, and on the bottom you're going to take the actual commodities into your hand. So for instance, if I decided to take this one, I would drive up the price of steel by 2, then I would choose any 3 of the available commodities down the bottom. But let's just say for instance I want to really concentrate on wheat. So I'm going to do this one, which is going to drive up wheat and iron by 1 point on the price marker. And then I get to choose any 3 of those commodities. So as I said, I'm going for wheat, so I'm going to just take the 3 wheat and leave the iron and wood. That goes into the discard pile and I replenish my hand. Next off, we're going to sell those commodities. So let's say I pushed up the price of wheat to 5. Now I've got in my hand 5 wheat. I simply put them back into the wheat supply, and I will take $5 for every one of those wheat. So that's $25 for me, thank you very much. And this would go down by 1 for every one that was sold. So that goes all the way back down to 1. Now wheat is again worth 1. The next item is railroad auctions. So you don't simply buy the railroad. So these here are the railroads. So you've got the Tycoon Railroad, which the starting price is 7, and you've got the Sly Fox Railroad, which the starting price is 3. The player whose turn it is, and let me just point out the first player marker, is rather impressive, big chunk of wood there, is going to say, right, I'm auctioning the, let's say the Tycoon Railroad. So your starting price is 7, the first player would then say, I'm going to start at 8. And they would go around, and like many auction games, people will raise the price, and once you've passed, you're out of that auction, and whoever pays the most at the end is going to gather that card. So let's say that I won this card, so that will go into my collection for end of game scoring. We flip over another card, oh, and there we go, we've got another Tycoon card. I'll explain why there's more than one later. Moving on, you quite simply pay the resources here if you want to buy one of these towns. So Molehill at the end there wants 2 steel, or it wants any 4 of any other resource, and then you take that into your hand, and that will score you the points on it. And also if you pair it with railroads, it's going to score you additional points. Again, you will flip that over to reveal the next one. These ones go up in price as the game goes on, moving all the way up to 5. Last up are the buildings. Now you start with the basic building types, the ones with the B on the top, and they're going to just give you 1 extra resource every time you claim the resource of the type shown. So this one's going to give me 1 extra wood. They can be upgraded, so that would now be 2 wood additionally if I've paid the money. The money you pay is the money that's depicted on them, and as they go on they become more interesting. So this one, for instance, the export company, so I would get to increase the price of a commodity by $3 every time I sell, and but that's going to cost me $30. This one here, the mayor's office, every building that I own, they're worth 1 point at the end anyway, but every one I own is worth an additional 1 victory point. So look at another one, the bank, for every $20 at the end of the game I'm going to get a victory point. And one more, let's have a look at this one. So every time one of those railroad auctions that we talked about is held, the person who owns this building is going to get $5 into their hand. That is essentially everything you need to know in Railroad Tycoon. At the end of the game, you are going to score for sets of these railroad cards. So if I was to have 2 Tycoon railroads, as you see at the bottom there, I would score 9 points. If I got all the way to all 4 of them, I would score 25 points. The towns themselves are going to score you as the points depicted on them, +2 if they are paired with a railroad. So that means the railroad is going through that town has made it more profitable. So that's another way of scoring points at the end. For every building you have, you're going to score a point at the end, and any buildings that you have that give you additional points once again. And the person who has the most points at the end of Railroad Tycoon is the winner. That was another Game Pit Stop. We hope you enjoyed it. For more like this, please go to our YouTube channel. And for more in-depth coverage of tabletop gaming, please check out our podcast, the Game Pit Podcast, wherever you get your podcasts from. Thank you very much for watching.